Hi, today we will actually create a Jenkins user on a Docker slave node, and then we will connect the Docker slave node to the Jenkins, right? So what we have to do, we need to go to the CLI, and then we will proceed with the all the steps that are needed to make it work. So first of all, I will run tmax, and I will divide the screen to two parts, something like that. Here we go. And okay, we can log into SSH to the Docker and go. I'm logged in and SSH, but something like that. SSH, but it will be Jenkins. So I'm already logged in. Excellent. So what is actually needed now? What you need to do, you need to create a Jenkins user that you need to add on the slave Docker machine, because we do not install Jenkins on any slave machines. So that is why we need to perform the below commands to make it work as expected. So the first step, what we have to do is just to, on a Docker, you add a user. So sudo user add -d, to provide the home directory for the user Jenkins, var lib Jenkins, yes, and Jenkins. Okay, so we need to be very careful here. Then sudo path w Jenkins, provide a password for the user Jenkins. Okay, user has been created. So now we have to create a SSH directory inside varlib Jenkins directory. So sudo mkdir varlib jenkins.sh. Here we go. Then we need to create authorized keys inside this file. So sudo touch varlib jenkins.sh authorized keys file. Okay, lovely. Then we need to change permission. So sudo hmod 600 to read permissions to the authorized key var lib jenkins.sh authorized keys. So now if we'll do this, and we will just use this LL, you can see read and write only for a root user. Okay, so now we need to change permission for SSH directory. So sudo hmod 700 to var lib jenkins.sh. Right? Excellent. Now we need to change the permission and owner, permission owner actually to the directory. So sudo show recursively -r, capital R, Jenkins :Jenkins, and to the directory var lib Jenkins. And now if we will list it, so sudo ls al var lib, you can see if I will scroll up, Jenkins is owned by Jenkins group and Jenkins user. Right, so that's how we did it. And Jenkins, if we will do this, you can see everything inside is owned by Jenkins user and Jenkins group. Lovely. Sorry. So what we need to do now, we need to switch to the Jenkins user. So sudo -Jenkins to make sure that it is working. But you can see it's not using a bash. It's using the sh directory, the ssh, sorry, s shell, just not the bash shell, but shell, sh. Sudo vim etc path w, and now we are going to change shell to bash, so like that, and save it, exit, and then log in once again as Jenkins user, and now we have a bash working. So if we will do this pw lh, so it's crucial to use bash instead of shell, but we can leave shell too. I prefer to use bash just like that, and I recommend it. So this is something that you need to do, right? Okay, so next step is to install on a Docker slave machine a Java. So in our case, it will be sudo apt install j, I don't remember, just need to check it. Grab the history, grab apt like that, and yeah, open JDK 11. So I already did it, but I will do this. Sudo apt install open JDK -11-JDK, because cat etc OC release shows us the Debian 11 bullseye. So it's already installed. Lovely. So next step, we need to install also a Git. So sudo apt install Git, and it's already installed. Great. Git and Java are installed. So next step is to switch to the Jenkins server, switch to the Jenkins user. So sudo Jenkins, and here Jenkins is installed. And now go to the SSH directory, and inside of this there is a file non-host that is created by default when you connect from machine to another machine. Then the REST key is added to the non-host. Okay, so what we need to do now, we need to generate SSH key using SSH key, the REST key for our Docker, right? So what we need to do, we need to generate a pair. So SSH key like that, --t, type of the key will be RSA, and I'm not using -b, and I'm not providing how many bits. Will it be 2048 or 4096? But instead I will leave it as it is, and comment, it can be something like the access key for Jenkins slave Docker node, something like that. Yeah, so being descriptive is a very good idea. And -f, so you are providing the path to the file, so it will be var lib jenkins.sh, and it will be id rsa, but let's call it slave docker, right? And okay, hit enter, generating public, enter the passphrase. Once again, excellent, the passphrase has been generated, and now you need to copy the key, the public key, from the Jenkins to the Docker. So SSH copy ID -i SSH id slave docker pub to the Docker machine. So I'm going to switch here, host name ctl-i, hostname.i 10.10.0.191. So, and user is Jenkins at 10.10.0.121. And what is exactly happening now? Now we are authentication. So we need to add the etcdsa key fingerprint. Yes. Permission denied, public key. That is interesting. Why? I'm going to present it. If we will do this, sudo bin etc ssh dconfig, you can see there is no password authentication. So I'm changing only this value to yes. And I'm leaving, you can see pub key authentication is enabled, permit root login prohibit password. So all is done as expected. You need to control the behavior of the SSHD. So now I'm allowing using passwords, not only keys, but also password. :x, so save and exit. And now I need to restart the SSHD. So sudo systemctl restart SSHD, right? And I'm going back to this, clear the screen, and I will try to copy the public key from Jenkins server to the Jenkins Docker node, the slave machine. And now it will ask me for the password for the Jenkins user password that I was setting up previously. So I'll try to do that. And it copied the key, and I will show you sudo -Jenkins, and I will go to the SSH directory. I will list the content, and you can see there is an authorized key that I previously created, but it was empty, and now it contains an entry. And if I will cut the authorized key on a Docker slave, you can see it contains the public key, the access key for Jenkins slave Docker node. Lovely. So I'm going back now to the Jenkins, and I would like to see is it connecting properly. So SSH-I, because I'm in the current directory, SSH varlib Jenkins SSH. I'm here, so I can just do this SSH-I ID slave Docker, but not public, but this time private key Jenkins at 10.0.121. But before I will do this, I will log out from this user from Jenkins. I will edit SSH config file, and I will try to find out the password. It was over here. I will scroll down here, and I will disable password login, and I will leave only keys, only possibility to log in using only keys. Then I'm restarting the SSHD, going back to the Jenkins, and now I should be able to get into the Docker node from Jenkins server using the RSA key, and I need to type a password. So passphrase. Here we go. I'm logged in Jenkins Docker, IP hostname host name -I, and you can see 10.10. here and host name -I. So we can see we are on the same machine, right? So this is the part that we did in command line. Okay, so I'm leaving now this as it is. Then I will switch to the browser, and you can see I'm logged into the Jenkins, right? So what I need to do, actually, I need to do a few things. So first of all, I need to go to the Manage Jenkins. Then I need to click on the Manage, on the Nodes and Clouds, to manage Nodes and Clouds. I need to add a new node. I'm going to add a new node. It will be Docker node. Permanent agent must be selected. Click on Create. Now, Docker node 10.10.0.121. Remote root directory should be as the user directory, so it will be var lib Jenkins, because what I did, I set up a dit directory var lib Jenkins as a home directory for users Jenkins. Label, you can add just Docker. Leave this as it is. Launch agent by connecting it to the controller. No launch agent via SSH. Now we need to provide the host. So I will try to copy just this IP address and put it here. Then credentials. There is no credentials for this connection. So we need to add to Jenkins. Click on it. Then choose SSH username with private key. Leave ID empty. Description, it can be something like RSA key for Docker slave node. It can be like that. And you can user Jenkins, something like that. But you don't have to do this, because here you type username Jenkins and then enter directly the private key. So you need to go back to the CLI, right? And in the command line on a Jenkins, so we will log off, and here we have two keys, and we need a private key. So ID RSA slave Docker. So cat ID RSA slave Docker and copy the whole content using sorry, try to do that. I'll try to check it out. Just give me a second. Yeah, I did it. I can Control-Shift-C. And now after that, I will put the private key into the field in Jenkins. So here is option, and you need to click on the button add and then enter new secret below. So you have to click below here and Control V to provide the private key. It needs to be provided with those lines: begin, open, SSH, private key, and end. So you need to copy all of this and then provide a passphrase for the generated RSA key. And click add. Okay. And now from the drop down list, you have to choose Jenkins RSA key for Docker slave node. And okay, that is fine. Next step you need to do, you need to actually choose host key verification strategy. Choose non-host file verification strategy. So the default option, right? And then scroll down, and in the node properties, you need to select environment variables, right? And then you need to provide two variables. One for Java, so it will be Java _home, and you need to provide a value. So the question is, what value we have to put this here in this window. So we are going back to the command line once again, and here we need to go back to the actually Docker, because it's a variable from Docker. So we need to check Java version, and we are using OpenJDK. So we will try to do this: sudo find iname and OpenJDK, something like that. And it should find anything like that, but it didn't. What about Java? Lovely. We have some location. Certificates, no. AppArmor, no. But we will check what is alternatives Java. So lsal etc alternative Java, right? And you can see it's a symbolic link that points us to user lib JVM Java 11 OpenJDK Java, right? And now we will check the same lsal to user bin Java, and you can see it's also a symbolic link, but user bin Java points to etc alternative Java that points to user lib JVM Java 11 OpenJDK. Interesting, right? And now we need to find out what is this. So lsal and user lib JVM now Java 11 OpenJDK, right? AMD 64 bin Java. What is that? And now you can see it is executable file. So we will copy this path okay, and we will go back to the Jenkins. Okay, so here we go, and here in this field we need to provide proper path to the Java. Usually it should be something like this, but without Java. user lib JVM Java 11 OpenJDK. So we can try to check this, right? And then we will configure Git. Just give me a second and I will do this, but I would like to check one more thing. I'm trying to find out this. And you can see there is no JVM lib. It's a directory, sorry. FIL. And we have something like OpenJDK 11. So we can try to figure it out. So sudo find, it was OpenJDK 11. Okay, so sudo find name OpenJDK 11. We are going to check this, and we will check this cd user lib JVM OpenJDK 11 and list it, and you can see there is only source zip. So this is something that is more interesting, and you need to know exactly what to look for. cd Java 11 OpenJDK, and here you have a bin directory. So this is correct path to the Java, and from this directory Java will start. And there is also a Java C. So that's the explanation why this path. Okay, then click add, and now you need to provide a name for the Git. So it will be just Git and the default path should be usr bin git. And the same thing you can do with this, because you can use a symbolic link. So if you will do this, it should work. But I prefer to add not a link, not a symbolic link, not a relative path, but a direct path. So we will check what is usr bin git. Okay, going back to the CLI once again, because it's very crucial to understand this. Okay, cd that and lsal usr bin git. We will check where exactly, and you can see it is not a symbolic link but an executable file. So this is how we can do it. We will go this, and here we will type Java, because Java, sorry, it must point to the executable file. But you can of course use this and it will work. It really will work. So if you will save it now, you can see the Docker node has been added. Now we need to click here on refresh status to check is it connecting or not. It connected. So here you have the information about the status. It sends it free disk space, free swap space, free temp space. What about temporary space, right? It's good to understand what we can do. So actually, if you will go to the manage Jenkins and manage plugins, so dashboard, manage Jenkins and plugins, and you can see there is update for this when it was released and when it was installed, which version we have. But it's good to install the TMP cleaner. So we'll try to find out available plugins, TMP cleaner, and we can install it without restart. And then we will go back to the install plugins and available and to updates. We will install all those plugins, and we will go back to the top page and we will check now the status, manage Jenkins, and go to plugins and download and start check now. And now I need to select restart Jenkins, sorry. So that was a crucial step. Now the Jenkins is restarting. So what I did, I installed the TMP directory, TMP cleaner for Java, and I will present you in a moment how it is working and why it is needed. Right? So I will try to explain this, because sometimes Jenkins is alerting you that you have not enough free space in temporary directory. Okay, and this is the problem. So of course you can change the threshold of, if you will go to the Jenkins configuration, to the Jenkins, try to go to here, manage Jenkins, use the executor status, click on the Docker node. I don't remember what it was, but that should give me a second. Advanced port Java path JVM option. You can see here, you can also provide it. Formatting for port directory, no. But I don't remember in the manage Jenkins, I don't remember is it in tools or system. There should be a threshold actually, but we'll try to figure it out. In manage Jenkins section nodes, in clouds, node monitoring. Yeah, here. In this section, you have free space threshold, and it's 1 GB at least. At free temp space 1 GB. So we can change this value to higher or lower. This is the important information, that when you will see the information that there is a low disk space and it's too low, you know that the threshold is set here. So here you will see in build executor status the information that free temp space and free spot space and free disk space is too low and you need to increase it, right? So that's the reason. Of course, you can increase it on the operating system level by extending the logical volume or adding new partition, and then adding this partition to a volume group and to the tenant, extend the volume and volume group, and then extend the logical volume this way. It depends. If you have a free space on a logical volume, then you can add it. It depends on the configuration, of course, but this is not our case. This way, but I will present you in a moment just what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this actually. If I will type sudo pvs in the physical volumes, you can see there is 6.5 giga free and sudo vgs, so it will show you the same free space on a logical volume group, and sudo lvs, it shows you the value, and you can see home is 14 gigabytes, but what is just 4.50, and the swap is this, right? So, and the var is 1.81. And what actually it is, so going back to the browser, and this is the location for var lib, because we set the home directory to var lib Jenkins, so it shows you the status for var lib. Free swap space, of course, it shows you the size of the swap file, because in my Docker node I have a swap file created as a logical volume, and here is a free space on logical volume TMP, right? So this is the explanation of this. Now you know exactly what to increase, and if you would like to increase this size, you need to increase, in this case, var lib directory, and actually a var, because var is a separate logical volume in Docker, right? So I will go back and I will present you in a moment. You can see var is separated. So we need to increase the space on var if you would like to do that, and we can try to make it work. So if I will use lv extend, try to find out history. Sorry, and grab lv extend, you see, or lv I history, grab lv extend. Yeah, I was extending the TMP directory because it was not enough big, so I can do the same. Go back here, sudo lv extend plus 2 gigabytes to the dev mapper docker vg, but it will be var. And now switch this history, I will use it and resize to first. So okay, going back, so sudo resize to file system. So I need to resize this logical volume, so it will be dev mapper, because before I will do this df kth var, and you can see it's 1.8. So if I will resize the file system to a first, fs go like that, and the mapper docker now vgvar. It should work, and if I will do this, you can see it's 3.8, so I added 2 gigabytes to this. And now if I will go back to the browser and I will refresh it here, you should see the size changed to 3.15. Of course the size is not exactly the same, but usually there is something different, but this is like that. And if you will go to the, because we installed the TMP plugin, right? So we can do some cleanup. So you can go here to the dashboard, to the manage Jenkins, and we'll try to see this. Manage all data, but I don't remember, just because this plugin added the configuration but to the system or to tools. I'm not sure. So we'll try to find out. TMP temp. So here, so manage Jenkins and tools. Git, Gradle, and Maven, no. So I will try to figure out this install plugin. TMP. Yeah. What it's actually doing. How to configure with the UI. System properties on starting Jenkins. So yeah, so we can add this to the Hudson. We'll clean up the directory Java. Okay, so if you will, I'm not doing it now because I need to figure it out. I was reading about this and I added this. So if you need to add this to the configuration of the Jenkins to make it work, that it will start this plugin this way. You can see there's recurrence, so it's every 360 minutes, and there is an option to clean extra directories, and when additionally, in this case, it's var tmp, and clean files not accessed since these numbers of day, and you can select that since 1 day, right? And this is the way how you can do that, but you can see the plugin is marked as deprecated. So actually it's not a good idea to make it work, and I will try to uninstall this plugin and we'll leave it as it is. But it explained us that we need to do some cleanup in var tmp, so it's interesting, and we can go to this directory here, cd var tmp directory, and list the content. And you can see there are files here, and we will do the h dot okay, sudo. It should show us the size of the file inside of it, and you can do this the same, but you can see the difference between the human readable format, and you can use this, and you can see it changed to kilobyte. Anyway, this is something that it's good to know, that there is a var tmp directory and it can be emptied. So you can use something like find and time blah 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 blah. So something you can do this. I will show you the command how you can use it. So you would like to check this. So find, but with sudo find, and in the directory var tmp, and type -type. And so you're looking for files, type f, and you're looking for files that are older than 1 day. So m time, and now -1. Like this, and if there is a file that is older than 1 day, you can do the removal by adding something like, I need to look for this. I just need to look for the command. Something like, yeah, and time, and then you need to do this and exit, then rm, something like that. Right. So we are looking for the directory var.temp. So you're searching there, type, and you can provide the name of the file, but no, we do not do this. But instead, we are looking for file older than 1 day, and we will removing them. And this way, you can do this, or eventually, if you prefer, you can use, instead of this, just option delete, and it will also work. Right? Of course, you can also use a different option. You can use this, and you can pipe out 0, like that. Missing operand. Okay, I will have to find out why, but not today. So there are at least some options to remove it. So it's interesting to do this. And the best option actually is to use the exec rm. That is interesting. If you would like to do that, so using this is the best option. Exec rm. Eventually, you can use option exec rm I. Right? And the option I gives you the option interactive. So it will ask you to confirm the deletion of the file, right? So this is more secure version. So you make sure that you need to delete exactly the file. Okay, so I think for now that's all what I wanted to explain, and how to make a cleanup, how to work with Docker, and also the same thing you can do actually on Jenkins side, but we were talking about cleaning up a var tmp directory on a slave machine, right? Just because Jenkins is reporting about the size of the free space on the node. So yeah, exactly about this. So for now, what I would like to present in the next video is something like I call building a pipeline. So we will build a job, and I will create a pipeline inside GitLab, and then we will modify the pipeline according to our needs. And next video next one will be about a Docker file, and inside of the Docker file we will create parameters. We will define parameters for our Docker container, and I will present you how to create a container and how to download a repository with tests from this into this Docker container, and how to run tests inside a Docker container and save results. And that will be all. And maybe in the future, I would like to present how to create a pipeline inside a GitLab, make a comparison between Jenkins and GitLab, and we will try to find out, is it possible to replace GitLab with Jenkins, and can we do that? And of course, I will make a simple comparison between Jenkins pipeline and Docker pipeline, and I will try to explain when to use Jenkins and when to use GitLab, and actually why GitLab has been invented and to what actually, and what it can do. And also, of course, I will be talking only about pipeline, nothing more, just because I would like to focus on this part and compare pipelines between Jenkins and GitLab. And maybe if I will have time, I will also try to provide an explanation how to install SonarQube on a separate machine and how to connect SonarQube into the GitLab and present exactly how we can make code check. First of all, GitLab can perform a code check like that you missed some comma or colon or semicolon, and of course also the quality check that is made by SonarQube, and I can try to figure out to present you the way how SonarQube is working and how actually to connect everything together. And before you will do the merge request, all those steps will be done in a pipeline, in a job, and it will be checking step by step every single thing. And after that, when every part will be finished with success, then the whole merge request can be performed, and the code can be merged when it will not contain any error. Okay, so this is the way how quality assurance specialists are creating the whole environment, and they are working with the code, but I'm the guy who is responsible for creating environments and configuring it the way according to the good practice, of course, and to the documentation, and make it work for teams, right? So because I'm the person who has time to find out, to learn, to create documentation, and then to proceed with the installation configuration and to give people a ready product that is working, and then I can focus on something else, right? So thank you very much. Have a nice day or night. Take care. Bye-bye.